Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Perth East Council this 4th day of June. I'd like to call our meeting to order. If everyone could please bow their head for a moment of reflection. Thank you. We have a motion to confirm the agenda, that the agenda as prepared for the June 4, 2024 meeting of Council of the Township of Perth East be approved as received. Moved by Jeremy, second by Bob. All in favor? Carried. Okay, if you have pecuniary interest, you can disclose that now as our meeting goes along. Under our consent agenda, we have 9 items. Is there anyone have any questions on any of those 9 items or anything that you'd like pulled? Andrew?
Thank you, Mayor. It's just a quick question, maybe easy for staff, if that's okay, on item 5.1.1, our draft minutes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to confirm the wording for the Bateman resolution. Oh, I've got my glasses on here. It's like page 13, section 2, item K. It talks about the MECP guidelines as part of one of the requirements. I'm just assuming that's the noise. Just want to confirm.
Jeff, would you like to come to the microphone, please, and speak to that, please?
Yes, that's for the noise bylaw or the noise standards. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. All right, so then we have a motion that items 5.1.1 to 5.1.9 is set out on the consent agenda for June 4, 2024 regular meeting of council be received for information, and that the minutes of May 22nd, 2024 regular council meeting be adopted. Moved by Amanda, second by Hugh. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we have no public presentations. We do have 3 items under other presentations, and those are for drainage. And so the first drain that we're going to do is the Branch A of the North Black Creek Municipal Drain, and we have Bill and Chris with us here tonight. So welcome, gentlemen. So if you both want to sit at the table together, that's fine, or you want to shift back and forth, however it makes it work for you guys.
Very good. Well, we're tag teaming tonight, so.
Okay, thanks.
Well, I guess I'm starting by looks at the agenda, so I'll let Chris take over after that.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Thanks, Mayor Eggetts and members of council. The first drainage report that we'll be presenting tonight will be referred to as Branch A of the North Black Creek Drain. This report has been revised. Our original report dated March the 11th was considered on May the 7th, and the petitioner had removed his name from the petition. But since then, the township has received a valid petition signed by the Public Works Manager and Brian, Ronald, and Elaine Gerber, and Keith and Annette Gasho. So what I'm planning to do here is to present our revised report, and this revised report is dated May the 14th, 2024 for consideration. This report consists of the same proposal that we had originally presented. It's 487 meters, a 600 millimeter diameter pipe, with the upstream end of the drainage system on the west side of Road 126, and the outlet will be in the North Black Creek Drain at the property line between lots 9 and 10 of concession 15. The estimated cost for this project is the same as in the original report, $106,700. And the breakdown of the cost and the assessment of costs are in the drainage report. So that's my report for the revised report on Branch A of the North Black Creek Drain. If there's any questions, I'll be pleased to answer those.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Are there any questions from members of council? Is there anybody in attendance who would like to speak on the drainage report? No? Okay. Is there any affected landowners that would like to remove their name from the petition? No? Is there any affected landowners who would like to add their name to the petition? No? Well, then we do have a motion, and the motion is that the Council of the Township of Perth East receive the presentation from Bill Dietrich, Drainage Engineer, Dietrich Engineering Limited, Branch A of the North Black Creek Municipal Drain 2024, parts of Lot 10 to 12, Concession 15, parts of Lot 11 and 12, Concession 16, Ellis Ward, Township of Perth East, County of Perth for information, and further that the Court of Revision for Branch A of the North Black Creek Municipal Drain 2024 be held on July 9, 2024 at 6 p.m. Moved by Amanda, second by Andrew. All in favor? Carried. Okay, thanks, Bill. Then the next one we're doing is the Rostock Municipal Drain, and Chris is going to do that.
Take over here.
Welcome, Chris,
Thank you very much.
and the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm here tonight to present the Rostock Municipal Drain 2024. And basically, this report's been prepared under two sections of the Act, Section 4 and Section 78 of the Drainage Act. The overall watershed is shown on the screens here. It's the double blue line, and that consists of 53.6 hectares. This project's broken down into three parts. There's the main drain enclosure, shown in yellow and orange. There's the Branch B extension, shown in a dark purple, as well as the new drain, Branch D, and that's installed under Section 74 in green. The main drain enclosure, shown in yellow, consists of the installation of 423 meters of 350 millimeter diameter to 400 millimeter diameter tile, and the installation of one concrete junction box. Also, the installation of one rock plunge pool on the downstream side of the culvert between, just downstream of where the tiles are outletting, there's a culvert there. We're going to be installing a plunge pool. The total construction costs, including the backfill of the existing open ditch shown in yellow, or orange, sorry, is $61,600. Branch B extension simply extends the drain that we installed under our report in 2018, and it consists of 73 meters of 400 millimeter diameter tile, and the total construction cost for Branch B is $6,900. Branch B is the new drain shown in green, and it consists of 199 meters of 200 millimeter diameter concrete tile and plastic pipes, along with the installation of 300 millimeter plastic surface culvert to go under the road. It contains the installation of 3 concrete catch basins and has an estimated construction cost of $39,000. That brings the total construction cost to $107,500, and an overall cost, including allowances and engineering, to $171,800. And at this point, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Is there any questions from members of council? No? Is there anyone in attendance who would like to speak on the drainage report? No? Okay, and then we have a motion that the Council of the Township of Perth East receive the presentation from Chris Dietrich, Drainage Engineer, Dietrich Engineering Limited, Rostock Municipal Drain 2024, parts of Lot 18 to 20, Concession 10, parts of Lot 18 to 19, Concession 11, Ellis Ward, Township of Perth East, County of Perth for information, and further that the Court of Revision for Rostock Municipal Drain 2024 be held on July 9, 2024 at 6 p.m. Moved by Amanda, second by Hugh. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
And our third drain is the Wilker Municipal Drain. So, Bill?
back into the hot seat here.
Yep. The floor is yours.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna, already got the plan up on the screens here. These drawings are attached to the at the back of our drainage report. So maybe I'll just quickly review the work that's being proposed on the Wilker Municipal Drain. Again, this drainage system, this report was initiated by an authorization from council to appointing our firm to prepare a report under Section 78 of the Drainage Act for repairs and improvements of the existing drainage system. They also had received a petition under Section 4.1A of the Act from Gerhard Negrasses to extend the drainage system upstream of the county road. This has resulted in the inclusion of 2 additional tile drain branches that I'll be reviewing here as part of this work. This all now will be included as part of the Wilker Municipal Drain. Going back in history, the existing drain was originally, our drainage system was originally installed by E.H. Uderstad Incorporated, and the date on that report was November the 2nd, 1973. It consisted of the installation of 4 tile drains, known as A drain, B drain, C drain, and D drain. The drainage area is shown on the plan, which is a highlighted dotted blue line around the outside of that plan, and all the lands and part of the road system that's within that area is accessible for the cost or improvements for this project. It includes approximately 262 hectares of land, which is 647 acres. Our proposal here is to upgrade the existing tile drainage system to today's standards, which is we used a 1.5-inch drainage coefficient to design this new drainage system. This will include the replacement of branches A, B, C, and D drains, which are all shown on that plan. We're also installing, as I mentioned a little earlier here, 2 new tile drains. These new drains will be known as E drain and F drain, and they will outlet into the existing drainage system on the upstream side of Perth Line 33. This total drainage system, all the improvements here, includes the installation of 3.6 kilometers of 200 millimeter to 750 millimeter tile, and also the installation of 2 new road crossings under Perth Line 33. These will be installed. They're 750 millimeter diameter steel casings, and they'll be installed by the jack and boring method. Also, at the outlet, we're proposing as part of this work a clean out of 670 meters of the Wilhelm drain. The total estimated cost of this project, which includes construction costs, allowances, administration costs, is estimated at $736,300. The assessment of those costs are summarized on the 2 yellow pages that are in the drain report, which show up on pages 24 and 25. So if there's any questions regarding the work that's being proposed here, or improvements to the Wilker drain, I'll be pleased to answer those.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Are there any questions from members of council? No? Is there anyone in attendance who would like to speak to the drainage report? No? Then we have a motion that says the Council of the Township of Perth East received the presentation from Bill Dietrich, Drainage Engineer, Dietrich Engineering Limited, Wilker Municipal Drain 2024, parts of lot 26 to 29, concession 1, parts of lot 26 to 30, concession 2, and parts of lots 26 to 29, concession 3, Southeast Hope Ward, Township of Perth East, County of Perth for information, and further that the Court of Revision for Wilker Municipal Drain 2024 be held on July 9, 2024 at 6 p.m. Moved by Amanda, second by Hugh. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, Bill.
Okay,
good to see
thank
you
you.
and Chris again.
Yes, at the next meeting. Okay.
Yep. Enjoy the rest
Take
of your
care.
day.
Have a good evening.
You too. Thanks. Okay, we're down to, we have no delegations. We have no public meetings, and we do have 1 public hearing. So council will now temporarily adjourn to sit as a committee of adjustment pursuant to Section 45 of the Planning Act. I now declare this public hearing open. This public hearing is being held to consider an application affecting property currently owned by Mark Merrigan, and described as Plan 331, Part Ramsay Street, RP 44R5058, Part 3, Southeast Hope Ward, 2177 Andrew Street, Shakespeare. The purpose of this hearing is to give the committee and the public an opportunity to hear all interested persons with respect to the proposed application and receive their input, and for the committee to make a decision on the application. All persons attending this hearing will be given an opportunity to be heard or make a presentation. Committee members may ask questions for the purpose of clarifying the application, but are asked to withhold comments on this application until all present have been given an opportunity to be heard. Any person who wishes to receive written notice of the decision made by the Committee of Adjustment is asked to email their name and mailing address to the Secretary Treasurer at this time. An appeal to the Ontario Land Tribunal objecting to the decision made at this hearing may be filed by the applicant, the municipality, the minister, or the prescribed utility providers with the Secretary Treasurer no later than June 24th, 2024. No written notice, except as previously noted, will be given unless requested at this time. I will now call on Student Planner Joshua Beach Belshaw to present the planning report and recommendations. So welcome, Josh, to Perth East. And the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good. Alrighty. Minor variance application A05 2024 was submitted to the township by Mark Margan. The property is located on the south side of Andrew Street in Shakespeare and is municipally known as 2177 Andrew Street. Next slide, please. The applicant is proposing to construct a semi-detached dwelling on the subject lands. They are requesting relief from section 13.2.4 of the Perth East zoning bylaw, reducing the minimum side yard from 2.4 meters to 1.52 meters. Next slide, please. Looking to the Planning Act's 4 tests for minor variance, section 6.4.3 of the official plan and section 13.1 of the Perth East zoning bylaw agree that a semi-detached dwelling is a permitted land use on the subject lands. As the requested relief is less than half of the minimum setback, the planning division does deem the relief to be minor in nature. Finally, given that the subject lands are designated medium density residential in the official plan, the application is considered to be appropriate planning for the subject lands. Next slide, please. The planning division has received no agency comment in relation to this application. The planning division has received public comments from neighbors, all of them in support of the application. This application meets the intent and purpose of both the official plan and zoning bylaw, is deemed to be minor in nature, and is deemed to be desirable development. As a result, the planning division feels that this is good planning and recommends approval of the application. I can answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone present who wishes to make a presentation or speak in opposition of the application? Seeing no one, is there anyone present who wishes to make a presentation or speak in support of the application other than the applicant or the applicant's agent? Seeing no one, does the applicant or the applicant's agent wish to address any of the questions or comments that were raised by the public? No. Does the applicant or applicant's agent wish to make a presentation or speak with respect of the application? No. Are there any questions from the committee members? No? Okay, the committee will now consider a motion regarding the application. I declare this public hearing closed. Not yet. Okay, it's not closed yet. All right, we have a motion that Township of Perth East Committee of Adjustment receive the report prepared by the student planner dated June 4, 2024, entitled Application for Minor Variance D13-A05-2024-PE, submitted by Mark Magarin, affecting lands described as Plan 331, Southeast Hope Ward, Township of Perth East, 2177 Andrew Street, Shakespeare, for information, and that the committee approved minor variance application D13-A05-2024-PE affecting land described above as it relates to Number 1, request for relief from section 13.2.4 of the Perth East zoning bylaw to decrease the minimum interior side yard width from 2.4 meters to 1.52 meters to facilitate the construction of a semi-detached dwelling subject to the following conditions. And that condition is that the owner obtain the necessary building permit within 2 years of the approval of the minor variance. We need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Andrew, second by Hugh. All those in favor? Carried. Now I declare this public hearing closed. Okay, thanks, Joshua. We're now going to move to reports, and the first report we have is a consent to sever application by Tim Sigley. And I believe Jeff is with us tonight to present that. So Jeff, welcome to Perth East, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. So consent application B13, 2024 was submitted by Diane Albrecht for the lands described as Lot 27, Plan 445, which is municipally known as 4443, Perth Line 72. The application proposes to sever 134 square meters from the subject lands as a lot addition to the adjacent property at 4445, Perth Line 72. Next slide, please. Provincial policy statement states that land use patterns within settlement areas shall be based on densities and a mix of land uses which efficiently use the land and resources. The subject lands are designated village according to the Perth County official plan. The designation permits a broad range of uses, including residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, recreational, and utility uses. The lands are currently zoned as Hamlet Village Residential Zone. The HVR zone permits single detached dwellings, semi-detached dwellings, and duplex dwellings. The adjacent property that will receive the lot addition is zoned as a Hamlet Village Commercial HVC-11 zone. Next slide, please. Subject application proposes to sever 134 square meters of the property at 4443. Perth Line 72 to add it to the adjacent property. The area to be severed for the lot enlargement is minimal in size, and it's intended to expand the adjacent lands to include a parking lot area that is already being utilized by the adjacent landowner. The lot the lot to be retained is already deficient in lot area, and the minor variance will be required as a condition of approval or a rezoning of the application, the property, to recognize the decreased size of the retained lands. The HVR zone requires a minimum lot area of just over 2,000 square meters, so 2,250 for the single detached dwelling. The subject lands have an existing lot area of 1,393 square meters, and a minor variance will be required to allow for the lot reduction. The adjacent property is also deficient in lot area, and the lot frontage has a different zone in place than the lands that are to be severed. As a result, a condition of approval has been included to rezone the lands to be severed into the same zone as the lands that are subject to the lot addition. The area being severed for the lot addition will be consolidated with the abutting lot, and the addition of the lands to be severed will bring the adjacent property closer to conformity with the HVC-11 zone. The retained lands will continue to be used for residential dwelling on a lot that is of sufficient size to accommodate the land use. The reduction in size of the retained lot will continue to be compatible with the lot fabric in the surrounding area. We've received comments back from Hydro One, Bell Canada, and Blue Water Recycling, and they have all indicated that they have no concerns with the application. Public notice was circulated to property owners on April 19th. In accordance with the Planning Act, and at the time of writing the report, no comments or concerns have been received to public, and we have not received any before the meeting. Planning staff are supportive of the proposed severance, subject to the recommended conditions of consent approval being fulfilled. I'm available to answer any questions.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Any questions from members of council? Hugh?
Jeff, on the picture, it shows where you have your colored lines. It almost looks like the lines are going through the roof. Is there just an error there on the picture?
Through the mayor, it's not so much an error on the picture, but it is deceiving because it's taken from an air photo. So it's taken on an angle, and the building isn't actually over top of those lands. So the lands that are to be severed as a lot addition are completely vacant. There's no building there. It's just because when they were taking the photo, it's on such an angle that it's skewed where those lot boundaries are. So it does look like there's a building there, and there isn't. Also on, about halfway back on the property on the west side, there's a box there. Some people might be wondering what exactly that is. It's a trailer, so that's been removed. It's not a permanent structure. That's also looks like it's in the middle of that lot addition, so that the lands are completely vacant.
Yeah. No, it's okay, it's just
deceiving.
So off.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, anyone else with questions? If not, we have a motion that the Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report dated June 4, 2024, prepared by the planner entitled Consent to Sever, application B13/24, submitted by Tim Sigley, McKinney Surveying Limited, on behalf of Diane Albrecht for lands described as Lot 27, Plan 445, Mornington Ward, Township of Perth East, 4443, Perth Line 72, for information. And that council advise the Land Division Committee or its delegated authority that the Township of Perth East supports the application file B13-2024 subject to the following conditions. And these 5 are Perth East conditions: that all financial requirements have been met. Number 2, that the required cash in lieu for parkland dedication fee has been paid for each new severed lot. Number 3, that the apportionment schedule for the municipal drains in this area are reviewed and updated. Number 4, that the road access to the severed and retained lots are to be to their satisfaction. And number 5, that the severed and retained lands have been appropriately zoned. And then we have Perth County conditions. We have 3 of them. The first one is that solicitor undertaking shall be received, which shall be to the effect that at the time of the registration, the transfer in which the certificate under Section 53 of the Planning Act is affixed in the name of the ownership of the abutting land to which this parcel is being joined is same as the transferee in the said transfer. The second condition is that confirmation be received from a solicitor that the certificate of the official will be scanned and attached to the electronic registration. And number 3, that the Land Division Committee be provided with a description that is consistent with the application and equal to that required for the registration of the deed or transfer of the conveyance of interest of the application. So that's a condensed version of the conditions. So do we have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Jeremy, second by Amanda. All in favor? Carried. Okay, our next one is the zoning bylaw amendment. This is for the Parks Livestock. So Jeff, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So the subject land is located on the property that's municipally known as 6901 Road 131. Application proposes to rezone the agricultural portion of the subject lands to allow for the development of the livestock assembly yard on the lands. The application was deferred at the May 7th Perth East Council meeting until additional information could be provided relating to the maximum number of livestock that could be accommodated on the site, the minimum distance separation, locational requirements, traffic sight lines, and traffic volumes. Next slide, please. So the property is designated as agricultural and natural resources environment in the official plan. The owner operates an existing facility that is located in Milverton, and they're proposing to relocate a portion of that business from the settlement area out to this property. The application complies with MDS requirements. Planning staff are recommending that agricultural zoned lands on the subject lands are rezoned to a special zone, A-187, to allow for the requested livestock assembly yard as an accessory use to the agricultural farm parcel. Incorporating the livestock assembly yard land use as a special regulation eliminates the split zone on the property, and the zone will ensure that livestock assembly yard remains accessory to the farm uses on the property and discourages the severance of the land use from the agricultural farm parcel. Next slide, please. The area for the subject lands is 52 hectares in size. It has a private septic and well. The road access is coming from Perth Road 131. And the applicant has submitted an archaeological assessment in support of the application. which stated that no artifacts or other archaeological resources were observed when in the area of the rezoning. Next slide, please. The adjacent property owner to the north expressed some concerns with the rezoning of the entire property instead of a portion of the lands with traffic and safety of the driveway location, and they wanted additional information on building and size before approvals are granted. The proposed zone will accommodate a small-scale commercial operation that is directly related to the agricultural and is necessary to be in close proximity to farming operations. The livestock assembly yard would be accessory to that farm use. Next slide, please. So in relation to the additional information that was requested, the applicant has stated that 1,000 sows would be the maximum capacity on the site at any given time, and that number was used in the calculation for the MDS setback requirement. The number of livestock on the site is expected to vary greatly from day to day and from week to week, but moving the building closer to the road would not meet any MDS setback requirements, and the current location that's being proposed does comply with MDS setbacks. The applicant has noted that municipal water and sewage services are not required or available, and they've submitted a sketch that shows how vehicles can be accommodated on the property. The applicant has also noted that their current location, Milverton, receives a maximum number of 20 trucks in a given week. The new location will reduce the amount of traffic being received in Milverton. And the County of Perth Public Works staff have reviewed the proposal, and including the amount of truck traffic that is being considered, the driveway location, and they note that the entrance could be permitted at the suggested location, and that adequate sight lines are being maintained in both directions. So they don't have any concerns with the safety and operation of the proposal. The applicant will be required to obtain an entrance permit, and staff will review the exact location and specify any additional requirements that may be required at that time. The proposed livestock assembly yard is not intended to include a growing operation, and it functions on the basis of accepting cow sows, weighing and sorting them into weight groups, and then shipping them off for processing. And the animals are not expected to be on the site for a period of more than 3 days. So planning staff have no concerns with the proposed zoning amendment as it has been revised, and the proposed zoning amendment allows for the establishment of the livestock assembly yard that is accessory to a farm use. And in our opinion, it's consistent to the provincial policy statement, conforms with the official plan, and represents good planning. I'm available to answer any questions.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Questions of the report? No questions? Then we have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report dated June 4, 2024, prepared by the planner, entitled Zoning Bylaw Amendment D14-Z07-2024-PE, submitted by Scott Patterson, Patterson Planning Consultants, Inc., on behalf of Parks Livestock of Manitoba, ULC, affecting lands described as South Part Lot 7, Concession 6, Mornington Ward, Township of Perth East, 6901 Perth Road 131 for information, and that council approves zoning bylaw amendment 207-2024 as recommended by planning staff. Do we have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Jeremy, second by Amanda. All those in favor? Carried. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Okay, now we're going to move on to the CAO, and we have the Energy Conservation and Demand Management Plan, and we have Hannah with us tonight. So welcome, Hannah. Hannah is our new coordinator for the county, and she looks after the stewardship as well. I know she has a fancy title. Energy Conservation, oh no, that's the plan. You can tell them your title. But anyway, welcome to Perth East. It's great to see you, and the floor is yours.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for having me tonight. My name is Hannah Can. I am the Resiliency and Stewardship Coordinator for the County of Perth. Tonight, Mike and I will be sharing with you this plan, which is the Energy Conservation and Demand Management Plan for Perth East, and it will serve the term for the next 5 years. And Mike, I'll let you take it away from there.
Sure. Yeah. Hannah, we appreciate you coming, and Hannah certainly wanted to come and support the report. She did a lot of the legwork and is doing this across the county for the county and for the other lower tiers as well. So we appreciate her coming. Really, the report itself establishes and meets the regulation, 517, I think 18, 507/18 is the regulation. And it really compiles a lot of the data as it relates to our facilities and usage, and also set some targets for us going forward in compliance with the regulation. So certainly I'm here, and staff were very supportive, the managers in particular, in terms of compiling the information for the reports. And the original report, I think they started in 2014 is when this dates back to the regulation. So this is every 5 years you're required under the regulation to update your plan.
Okay,
I would just like to highlight too, through this report, every 5 years, you are to take a full assessment of the greenhouse gas emissions produced by facilities, and recommended to include fleet in that now moving forward. So Perth East was able to successfully reduce greenhouse gas emissions in facilities by 7.95% over the last 5 years, which was fantastic. The lion's share of those, I think, were from the PERC. So all the great work that is being done here to make improvements in facilities, whether that's LED light bulbs or things like the solar panels that are on 2 of your facilities, those all go hand in hand towards not only reducing the greenhouse gas emissions, but also improving the financial efficiency of the operations.
okay, thank you. Any questions of the report? Hugh?
Yeah, you've got a 30% reduction. Where did the 30% come from?
Thank you, and through your worship, the 30% is a largely accepted standard of emissions reduction based on 2018 greenhouse gas emissions, and that target is not it's not a legislated requirement to meet at this time, but it is a target that has been set by international, federal, and provincial governments. And through the 2021 Perth County Greenhouse Gas Reduction Plan, that target was also set. I will mention that Perth East is the only local municipality in Perth County that did not go ahead and accept that report at that time to meet the targets that were laid out in that, whereas the other 3 local municipalities in Perth County and Perth County itself did strive and endeavor to meet those targets. So although that target is set for us to strive towards, there's no legislated requirement to meet that target.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Nope. Anyone else? Nope. Just before I do the motion, I just want to say thank you. It's a huge report, a lot of reporting. And I also want to thank staff too, because I know they, even though we didn't go in 2014, they were still keeping all the stats behind the scenes. So that was great. So it's great to see this. And yeah, now we're in compliance. So thank you, and I will now read the motion that the Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report prepared by the Chief Administrative Officer dated June 4, 2024, entitled Energy Conservation and Demand Management Plan 2024 to 2029, CAO-2024-08 for information. Further, that Council endorse the attached Energy Conservation and Demand Management Plan 2024 to 2029, dated June 2024, and further that Council direct staff to post the plan on the Township website and submit it to the Ministry of Energy in compliance with Ontario Regulation 507/18 before July 1, 2024. We need a move and a seconder. Moved by Amanda, second by Bob. All those in favor? Carried. Thanks, Hannah. Good to see you. Good to see you. Enjoy the rest of your night. Okay, next on our agenda is under the clerk, and it's a CPR land lease extension and amending agreement. So Ashley, the floor is yours.
Okay, thanks, Mayor Rigetts. This is just an extension agreement to CPR Drive, is also what this would be known as in Milverton. Back in 2017, there was discussions on purchasing the land, and I've had recent conversations with them and still haven't gotten a value of what that looks like. So at this time, since the current agreement expires July 1st. I'm looking for council's direction to extend this current lease agreement for 5 more years. Can answer any questions if there is any.
Okay, questions of the report, Hugh?
Does CPR or the province, rather, do they still own the land to the east and the west of that? Like, is that where the G2G trail is? And they would still own that?
Yes, they do still own it, and yeah, the G2G runs, you can see on the screen just the right part, that's part of the trail there. And then there's a portion from Main Street back to William Street that's not gravelled or anything as part of the trail. And then the trail starts again, the G2G.
So then they have not let any of that other land go yet either, they stay?
No, not to my knowledge, they haven't.
Okay, any other questions? If not, we have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report entitled CPR Land Lease Agreement, CLE-2024-12, prepared by the Manager of Legislative Services / Municipal Clerk, dated June 4, 2024, for information, and that Council approve and give 3 readings to Bylaw 33-2024, being a bylaw to enter into a lease extension with His Majesty the King in right of Ontario as represented by the Ministry of Infrastructure for lands described as part of Lot 423 R.P.363, Township of Perth East, County of Perth, Rental Unit A 81069, File ID GNG-81, Lease ID M70602. Do we have a mover and seconder? Moved by Hugh, second by Amanda. All in favor? Carried. Okay, thanks, Ashley. Now we'll move to finance, and we have the 2024 tax sale registration. Paula, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor Agates. So before council tonight is a report summarizing the 2024 tax registration process to date. We started at the end of 2023 notifying 17 property owners that they were at risk of going to sale, being 3 years in arrears. And we've got that down to 2 properties that actually went to our third-party processor, RealTax, to be registered, and the farm debt letters have been sent out. The tax arrears registration has not been registered on the property as of yet because we have to send first notices out, and then if there's no response from those property owners, the tax sale process will resume or commence. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Okay, thanks, Paula. Any questions of the report? If not, we have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report prepared by the Manager of Financial Services / Treasurer dated June 4, 2024, entitled 2024 Tax Sale Registration, FIN-2024-11 for information. Moved by Andrew, second by Hugh. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, Paula. Okay, we have no reports from Public Works, no report from Bylaw and Building Enforcement, no report from Parks, Recreation, and Community Services, no report from Fire. So now we move to correspondence. We have 3 items of correspondence. The first one is from Jeremy Matheson. He is the chair of the Perth Municipal Association, and they're asking for one-time funding, the Perth County Municipal Association of $300. Anybody have any comments, any questions? Andrew?
Where does this normally get its money from to run the event,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jeremy. You can
Mostly just from user fee, like from the registration fees of the delegates that come. The last couple of years, we've had some delegates register that did not show up, so it kind of threw our budget off a little bit as well, and they didn't pay. And that would have been, municipal delegates. So that's a little bit frustrating, but as far as that goes, it's mostly just as a result of a couple of the small deficits that occurred over the last couple of years, mostly for technology. And as you can see in the letter, that's We have received response from 3 or 4 others so far, sending us agreeing to sponsor the $300.
Okay, other questions? I have one. If we did agree to pay the $300, where would it come from?
I would suggest maybe the special events budget line item under council budget line, or it's $300. I would hate to dip into a reserve for that, the corporate reserve, but I would say the special events probably would be the best bet for $300.
Okay. What does council wish to do? Amanda?
I'll make a motion that we provide the $300 and take it out of the special events on the council that line item that was recommended.
Okay, do we have a seconder? Bob? Questions, comments? I'll just give Ashley a second here to. Okay, so we have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the correspondence from Jeremy Matheson, Chair of Perth Municipal Association, dated May 22nd, 2024, one-time funding request in support of the annual Perth County Municipal Association event for information, and that council donate $300 and the money to be funded from the special events budget from council. Okay, any questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, the next item is from Mr. Banks in Milverton, and it's to do with Cobalt Street and prevention of potential flooding. And I think Jake has some more information on this. So Jake, would you care to help us out here a bit, please?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. I can certainly provide a bit of an update. Obviously, this is going back quite a while. The drainage issue that has existed in the past, there are a couple things. We have tried to improve that. Back in, I want to say it was 2019, before my time, there was a French drain installed along the west side of Cobalt. So that, I think, has helped. But as pointed out in the correspondence, with the development of the daycare and then also the lots further to the north, I think this has certainly come to our attention now as something that could be sooner rather than later. One of the things we did through the development agreement with the lots to the north on Cobalt was we got some funding for the future reconstruction of Cobalt Street, which will help with the reconstruction in the future. There's also some development lands to the, I guess it would be the northeast of that area that I think is within the village boundary, which in the future could get developed. So I think that's something that's on our radar as well. Also, lastly, the daycare itself, I think, will provide some aid in that drainage. It's all going to get captured with curb and gutter, so that will help the case a little bit in the interim. But the plan remains to put in a curb and gutter when we do decide to reconstruct Cobalt.
Okay, questions, Bob?
So just to jog my memory on the extent of what Cobalt Street is, because I believe it's just a laneway going back to the cemetery and the residence beyond there to the north, right? So where's the official, I don't know, street boundary, if you will?
Through you, Mayor, I think the property limit is right at the end of the fence, basically at the north end of the cemetery. That is where the right-of-way officially ends, according to the survey. That's my understanding.
Okay, go ahead.
So when you talk about reconstruction of Cobalt, you're talking about the whole extent of that right away?
Potentially, I think we'll have to see what happens with the development to the lands to the east. If nothing happens there, then perhaps the limit or the scope of that project changes, but I think we'll see what the future holds here and make a decision based on that.
Okay, Andrew?
No, it's very interesting. We have a lot of areas in the township have been affected by infilling and the settlement areas. I'm just wondering, is this a user pay thing? Because seems like in this case, at least, there's no municipal drain there or storm and gutter. So what, is there official, I guess what I'm asking is what's the official, is it just a letter to staff or a counselor, or what's the official mechanism for getting this type of work looked at? In this case, it looks like a letter and a little bit of history.
I can try to speak to that. So the municipal drain piece, we are looking at in the future, short-term future, incorporating that former open ditch to be a municipal drain. So that would provide an outlet for that street. That's something we've looked at through that development that went on to the north. I'm not sure if that entirely answers your question.
I'm just more, thanks, I appreciate the comments. I'm just wondering more of, in this case, it looks like it was a letter and some back history, which is good. But I'm wondering, is there a process for getting these concerns looked at, like in this case, or is it over and above that? Is there a policy for it, or?
Not to my knowledge. Something like the recommendations, or the resolution rather, that was provided back in 2004, I think those items still stand. Some of those items have been completed, but certainly the notification to the writer of the correspondence, that will still happen when we do reconstruct that road. I think this more or less just puts it on a radar, and it could be incorporated into our 5-year forecast potentially, is kind of what I'm thinking.
Okay, thank you.
Mike has something to add.
Yeah, just to add to Jake's comments, Councilor McAlpine, typically the trigger around this type of stuff is development. We had a development application as it relates to severances on Cobalt Street. And at staff at that point, we look at the implications of the impact of that development. And as part of the development agreement, we look at the reconstructions or the impact of that development. And in this instance, we were forward thinking enough to get the developer to contribute to future upgrading Cobalt Street. When we're dealing with a strictly an infill lot, an existing lot, we don't have that trigger anymore. And then it's solely reliant on township levy dollars if there's upgrades required. But anytime there's a development application, a site plan application, those type of things, the onus falls on staff to give consideration to what impact that will have on the service level. And the service level includes the road, sidewalks, curb, gutter, all of those things. And so we try our best to capture that as part of the development agreement. A lot of times it's met with a lot of discomfort from the developer because they're not interested in contributing to things that aren't going to happen instantaneously. But we do it, and in this case, we're grateful we did, and knowing that this now comes in front of council, we can say that we're prepared financially.
Okay, other questions? If not, we have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the correspondence from R.B. Banks, Milverton resident, dated May 21st, 2024, regarding future reconstruction of Cobalt Street for information, and that Council direct staff to prepare follow-up correspondence informing R.B. Banks that when reconstruction occurs of Cobalt Street, it will incorporate curb and gutter as per resolution number 04-416, and further clarify that the footing shall be assessed by the property owner as per resolution number 04-416, and further that council provide an update of the work completed to the swale on the north end of Cobalt Street. Okay, do we have a mover and a seconder for that? Moved by Amanda, second by Hugh. All in favor? Carried. Okay, and then the third piece of correspondence is from Bev Rock on behalf of the Optimist Club of Ellis, and they're looking for some money or grants towards a fun day that they're having in Rostock on August the 24th. Any questions on this, comments? Hugh? No, they don't. They haven't for a few years. I think since COVID. They tried a couple times. I think they did drive-through maybe once or twice, and then they've stopped doing it. A lot of work. But there is we do have a policy on events like this and how we give the money, and maybe you want to elaborate a bit more about that?
Sure, yeah, through you, Councillor, I get, so it's difficult with these kind of one-off event type requests, and one of the things that the treasurer and I have talked about is that during the budget visioning process, we think it would be worthwhile if council and staff sit down and review this recreation and culture facility funding policy, which is really geared towards assets and facilities on township property, but doesn't really address these type of requests for what we think are really valuable community events. We don't really have a source to deal with it right yet, and we have a couple ideas that we'd like to maybe propose through budget visioning to allow for us to address these type of requests. This is, I think, the second or third that we've seen in the last little while as it relates to kind of events. Sometimes we get requests about waiver of fees at some of our facilities. It would be nice if we had kind of a discretionary opportunity for council to give consideration to those type of things, because to Deputy Mayor's comments, these type of events, whether it's July 1st or a family fun day, are part of our community, and I think council wants to find ways to support it. The existing policy, if you go to section 4, Matthew, it's really geared specifically to kind of facilities, and it doesn't really afford council a lot of opportunity here. So I think going forward, you can look forward to maybe a draft policy for us to consider at the budget visioning to deal with more things like events, scholarship opportunities, other things that I think are important to the community and that the council should consider supporting, but we really just don't have the avenue right now.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? If not, then we have a motion that the Council of the Township of Perth East receive the correspondence from Bev Rock, Family Fun Day Event Coordinator, Optimist Club of Ellis, dated May 15, 2024. Request for funding towards a Family Fun Day at Rostock Hall, scheduled, excuse me, for August 24th, 2024 for information. Moved by Jeremy, second by Amanda. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we're going to move on now to council and committee reports, and there's my meeting log for the month of May. There's 2 pages where I've been. Any questions what I did? If not, then council reports. Do we have any verbal or written reports from members of council who sit on boards and committees? No? Okay, then we have a motion at, where do I start? Oh, the mayor's meeting log dated May 2024, be received for information. Moved by Hugh, second by Amanda, all in favor? Carried. Okay, then we're going to move on to the bylaws. We have 7 bylaws that we are going to read a first and second time, and those are bylaw 33-2024, and that's to execute the CPR land lease extension and amendment agreement. Bylaw 34-2024, a bylaw to execute an amendment agreement with Percon Developments and amend bylaw 16-2023. The third one, bylaw 101-2024, a provisional bylaw to provide for drainage works known as Branch A of the North Black Creek Municipal Drain 2024 Ellis Ward. Bylaw 104-2024, being a provisional bylaw to provide for drainage works known as the Rostock Municipal Drain, Ellis Ward. Bylaw 105-2024, a provisional bylaw to provide for drainage works known as the Wilker Municipal Drain, 2024, Southeast Hope Ward. Bylaw 106-2024, a bylaw to levy assessments for the maintenance of Horners Creek Municipal Drain, 2022, Southeast Hope Ward. And bylaw 207-2024, a bylaw to amend bylaw 30-1999, South Park Lot 7, Concession 6, Mornington Ward, 6901 Perth Road 131, and that's for Parks Livestock of Manitoba. So we want to, these have first and second readings. We need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Jeremy, second by Amanda. All in favor? Carried. And then for third and final reading, we have 4 bylaws. We have 33-2024, a bylaw to execute CPR land lease extension and amending agreement. Bylaw 34-2024, a bylaw to execute an amending agreement with Percon Developments, Inc. and amend bylaw 16-2023. And we have bylaw 106-2024, being a bylaw to levy assessments for maintenance of the Horners Creek Municipal Drain, 2022, Southeast Hope Ward. And the last one, bylaw 207-2024, a bylaw to amend bylaw 30-1999, South Part Lot 7, Concession 6, Mornington Ward, 6901 Perth Road 131, and that's Parks Livestock of Manitoba. Question? Okay.
I apologize, I didn't catch this in my read-through. Before we vote on the final for the Percon item, 11.2.2, sorry, am I reading that right? I don't recall the details of this. Can we just briefly discuss the details of this? We've amended the bylaw for them.
Sure.
Through you, Mayor, the actual subdivision agreement, there's no significant change to the agreement. What did change is that the plan, which is referred to as Schedule B, when they went to register it at the registry office, they changed the numbering of some of the lots and the blocks. It had an impact on the agreement and on the M plan itself. So we're here amending the agreement so that 20 years down the road, it reflects what is actually registered.
So it's just a housekeeping thing?
Pretty much,
okay,
yes.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so we need a mover and a seconder for third and final reading of those 4 bylaws. Moved by Andrew, second by Hugh. All in favor? Carried. Okay, do we have any notice of motions? Any other business? Any announcements? One, okay, Mike's got one announcement.
Just under announcements, I think Jake had it as well, but we have scheduled the open house related to the Whaley Fulton Street construction for June 13th between 6 and 7 p.m. So there'll be more information coming out about that, but we wanted to share that information tonight.
Just to add to that, if I could, letters are going to go to the affected property owners tomorrow. So each will get a letter giving them the information around the open house.
Okay, thank you. Anything else from anyone else? Bob?
This Saturday, June 8th, is the Shakespeare Field Day, so fire department breakfast and the usual activities, fish fry and kids' activities, fireworks, so put that out there.
Okay, thank you. And there's a parade, if anybody wants to go in the parade too, at 1 o'clock. So I will have my convertible there, and everyone's welcome. Anyone that wants to ride, or if you want to walk beside me, that's fine too.
What about drive? Anybody?
Well, I let them drive my car one year. Okay, we do have a need for a closed session, so we have a motion that that the regular meeting of council of the Township of Perth East be temporarily adjourned at 8:03 p.m. to permit the holding of a meeting in closed session for the purpose of personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, and it's an HR matter. So I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Jeremy, second by Amanda. All in favor? Carried. Okay, thanks everyone else. Enjoy the rest of your night. Okay, we have a motion that the Council of the Township of Perth East rise from closed session and reconvene to regular session at 10:46 PM. Moved by Hugh, second by Andrew, all in favor? Carried. We have a motion that a closed meeting was held and only closed session items identified were discussed in closed session, and further that council approve the confidential direction to staff. Mover and a seconder. Moved by Hugh, second by Amanda, all in favor? Carried. That Council of the Township of Perth East approve the closed session minutes of the meeting on March 19th, 2024. Mover and a seconder, moved by Hugh, second by Andrew, all in favor? Carried. That bylaw 35-2024 being a bylaw to confirm proceedings of the Council of the Township of Perth East at its regular meeting held on June 4, 2024, be read a first, second, and third time. Moved by Jeremy, second by Hugh, all in favor? Carried. And the last motion of the night, that the meeting be adjourned at 10:47 PM. Moved by Amanda, second by Bob, all in favor? Carried. Thanks, everyone. Good night.